Alright, it's been a while since we've done a boot review video here, so while your wife's watching Grey's Anatomy or at book club, why don't you crack a good old American beer with me and we'll talk about some boots here. Have you ever had something in your life that worked out quite well, but you decided, well, maybe there's something else better out there, maybe you should try something else? Well, I made that mistake quite a few times and I gotta learn not to keep making that mistake. I made the mistake with my truck. I used to have an F-150, bought a Chevy. I hate the Chevy. And same thing goes with boots. I've been a Thorogood guy for the past 6 years and I decided to try something new and I absolutely hate it. Hated it so much that I had to buy another new pair of boots to get rid of these pair of boots here. So we're gonna get into it in a minute here, but the first thing I want to mention is this is a completely unbiased video. What does that mean? I'm not sponsored by any of these boot companies. Nobody sent me anything out. I paid for all this stuff with my own money, and that's really important that you note upon. Why did I decide to buy a new pair of boots? Well, my Thorogoods I've had for 3 years now. They're gone now. I don't have them on the table. Sold them at a yard sale. But I had them for 3 years, and I've been working a lot on concrete. And you know, they were just worn out. I could have resold them, but the leather was starting to crack right here, so it didn't make sense. But anyway, when you're looking for a new pair of boots for a specific application, what do? You go on Google, right? You type in the search engine, yeah, what are your best boots for working on concrete, guy? And I found this reoccurring theme. A bunch of different websites will come out, but they're all pretty much laid out the same, in which there'll be like top 10 boots for working on concrete, and you know, the list of boot number 1, list of description from the website basically, and there will also be an Amazon affiliate link. What is an Amazon affiliate link? Well, if you decide to click on that link, and it just so happens if you decide to buy the pair of boots after clicking that link, whoever made that website and made that link will earn a small commission off that pair of boots. Now, in all fairness, I do that as well. If I have some products that I use in my video, I have this special generator that'll generate an Amazon affiliate link. I'll leave that in the description. And if you guys decide to click on that link and buy a product through that link, I do really appreciate it. I earn a small commission. Now, problem I have with these guys on Google that make these websites, I doubt these guys have ever tried on a pair of boots. You know, those guys are solely in it for the money. As where me, I'm trying to get you the right stuff for the right job. I wear these boots, I try them on, I wear them hard, and I know what works and what doesn't work. So, yeah, again, I appreciate if you guys click on any of the links, earn a small commission, just allows me to buy, you know, new camera equipment. Some guys said my videos were too dark, so I bought some lighting recently, just trying to improve my videos and my channel. So, yeah, let's get into it here. So first things first, when it comes to boots, I have a few requirements, 2 specifically. One is that I prefer 8-inch boots. 8 inches tall. Now there are 6-inch boots and probably 4-inch boots and work shoes, stuff like that. Basically, the shorter the boots are, the more, you know, they are like sneakers, the easier they'll be to walk in and perhaps the more comfortable they'll be. But the issue is that if you're working on a lot of uneven surfaces, they don't offer much ankle roll protection, as I like to call it. So I like tall 8-inch boots because if I step on an uneven surface and I have a pair of 8-inch boots on, it helps to protect my ankle from rolling. So you lose a little bit on comfort, but you gain a lot in ankle protection. So that's why I like 8-inch boots. Now the second requirement of boots that I have is that they have to have some type of toe protection, and that's my boss. That's my job. They require toe protection. So whether it be a composite toe, steel toe, aluminum toe, whatever, I have to have some type of toe protection in my boots. So all the boots you see in front of you right here are 8-inch boots, and they do have toe protection with the exception of my favorite boots back here. We'll talk about those a little bit later on in this video. So, first pair of boots we'll talk about are these right here. These are Avenger A7573s. They're made in China, and they do have a composite toe coming in at a price range of about $140. Had these boots for 2 years. These are kind of like my backup boots. I don't wear them that much. I only wear these if my Thorogood boots really get soaked pretty well and I just need a pair of dry boots. They're really not super comfortable, but they're definitely a bit better than the Irish Setters. They have good traction, construction's okay, triple stitching. The thing that really attracted me to these boots early on is that they have kind of like a rubber toe cap. When I used to be a landscaper, I used to do a lot of kicking on bins and sticks, and I always used to wear out my toes pretty quick, so having just a rubber toe cap, I thought it'd be pretty good just for wear protection and stuff like that. So, you know, course, they stopped landscaping, but these boots have been okay. Just in terms of comfort, they're not the best. Now, I've been a Thorogood guy for the past 6 years. I love Thorogood boots, but as I mentioned earlier on in this video, I wanted to try something else out there, see if I was missing out on something better. So I actually went to a boot store. Traditionally I bought boots online, but I figured, this time I'm going to go into a boot store, trying a bunch of different pair of boots, and see what I like. And in the store, I ended up liking these Irish Setter boots the most. These boots are the Irish Setters 83850s. And I don't know, for whatever reason, these just felt the most comfortable in the store, and figured, I'll give them a shot. They are made in China, and they do have an aluminum toe. They're, probably just as heavy as the Avengers over there. In terms of lace up, they're pretty easy to lace up. They go on pretty smooth. Again, triple stitching, leather toe, reasonable tread. I don't know, maybe you have an inch heel in the back. They're probably the most uncomfortable boots that I've ever worn in my life, to be honest. I don't know why they felt so good in the store, but I gave them 2 weeks, for like a break-in period. I figured, maybe after 2 weeks they'll break in, they'll start feeling all right. And mind you, again, I've been working on concrete pretty much every day. They're terrible. They're like literally not having boots on, and like my feet are walking directly on the concrete. In fact, it may be more comfortable for me to take my goddamn boots off and walk with bare feet on the concrete. That's how much I hate these boots. I hate these boots so much that I actually had to buy another pair of Thorogood boots because I was past the return period, and they don't offer any kind of comfort guarantee for these Irish Setters. So I'm really kicking myself in the butt that I decided to try something new. So these boots come in at a price of $200. Don't know if I mentioned that or not, but God, I just hate them. Absolutely terrible boots. Stay away from these, please. Do yourself a favor. I don't know why the reviews for these boots are okay online, but just if you're working on concrete, they're absolutely terrible. That's another thing I want to mention real quick. I will say almost all boots, no matter what kind of boot you wear, they'll feel somewhat comfortable if you're working on like a soft surface, like grass, dirt, in a farm field, if you're sitting on your butt all day in a tractor or something like that. Pretty much all boots will do okay. What separates great boots from terrible boots is when you're working on rock hard surfaces such as steel, concrete, stuff like that. So again, after buying these boots, they were so terrible I had to go back to Thorogood. And these are the Thorogood 804 4478s, made in USA, and they have a steel toe, coming in a price range of $220, which I may have done a review of these boots in the past, which we'll talk about them again today. Which again, my old pair of boots, these boots specifically, this exact pair, probably lasted about 3 years. And I would have resold them, but what happens for Thorogood boots, in my case, is that I do a bit of bending on my toe, and I do oil my boots quite frequently, but it always seems that the leather tends to crack right here, which, in my opinion, you could oil your boots like nonstop every day of the week, but if you're just bending right here all the time, leather's gonna fail. It's just the way it is. So it didn't really make sense to resole them. So sold them at a yard sale. I got a couple bucks. It is what it is. So what makes these boots different from these boots? I think there's a couple things. One, I think the sole is a bit softer. These have the Maxwear wedge soles. They're white. They make full contact with the ground. Where these boots really lack is traction. When you're walking on snow and ice, even right out the box, these things, you just don't have much in terms of grip, which I do a lot of snow plowing in the winter with my job, and I work on, I work in icy, slippery conditions on the shop floor. Just traction-wise, these boots are terrible. But in terms of comfort, I think nothing else really beats them for working on concrete. Granted, of course, I haven't tried every pair of boots out there, but just everything else I've tried on the table and a few other pair of boots I have on the shelf, which I don't even want to pull out, these have, hands down, beaten them in terms of comfort. Now, what makes these so comfortable? I think it's partially the sole, but I also think it's how these are formed. I think these boots can form anatomically to my foot so much better than these. Like these, I feel like right out the box, granted they do take like a week or two to really break in and make them, you know, really comfortable. But I think right out the box, these kind of match the anatomical positioning of your foot, as opposed to these boots over here, these Irish Setters 83, 850s. These things are like flat. They just don't conform to your feet. It's like all the pressure with these boots is like right on my heel and like right back from my toes. It's just those two pressure points are just really extreme. As with these Thorogood boots, it's just kind of distributed throughout the whole boot. Again, these are American made, triple stitching. Really been great boots. I've never had a pair of these boots come apart on me. Just again, the only part of these boots that really tends to fail is right at the toe right here. What else do I want to say about these boots? It's important that you oil these. I like to use Hubbard shoe grease. This just helps soften up the leather. It helps seal out the outside elements. I have mentioned it in some of my past videos. There's no such thing as a leather-proof boot. You do need to add some type of sealer or some type of oil. Some people use mink oil. You know, use whatever you want. I use Hubbard shoe grease, and this stuff works great. If you're walking through the snow every day in the wintertime, you probably have to oil them maybe once every 2 weeks. Just works out really great. But now, before I conclude this video, I do want to pull out probably my favorite pair of boots that I've ever owned. And they are Thorogood boots. These are Thorogood 814-4201s, made in the USA, and they come in on a price of $215. Now these boots right here, I probably want to say since the beginning. I want to say these are probably one of my first pair of Thorogood boots. I wouldn't doubt that these are 6 years old. And these are really the most comfortable pair of boots that I've ever worn. Now these don't have any type of toe protection, and that's why I can't wear them to work every day. You can just see how worn out the sole is. But these things are just so comfortable. I don't know what it is about them. Now, aside from the lack of traction on the soles of these Thorogood boots, there is one other huge complaint that I have about these boots. I have an average size foot. I don't have a wide foot, it's not narrow, it's just an average size foot, and I generally wear a 10.5 size boot. Now, when I go to Thorogood and I get any kind of steel or composite toe boot, and I get my size, 10.5, my toes do get a little tight in the toe of the boot. So, if you have an average size foot, I would recommend going with the wide toe boot. You'll thank me later. If you have a wide foot, wide toe, I don't really know how well Thorogood boots are going to work for you, to be quite honest. Again, I have an average size foot and I need the wide toe. If you have wide feet already, I don't know how comfortable they're going to be for you, but that's really the only two complaints I have about these boots. No traction in the sole, or very limited traction in the sole, and they're just not wide enough when it comes to the toe protection boots. So I do like that they're made in the good old USA, of course with global components. It's really easy to walk around in these, really comfortable. Just best pair of boots I've ever worn. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I don't really know if it's a life lesson or not. Stick with what you know, but at the same time, if you don't go outside your comfort zone and try something new, how do you know if you're not missing out on something great in life? So, I don't know. I'm a Thorogood guy. I think when it comes to boots, I'm going to stick with Thorogood, and when it comes to trucks, first chance I get, I'm going to go back to Ford. But that's it for tonight's video. I appreciate you putting up with me. Feel free to leave any comments in the comment section down below, and I'll catch you on the next video. Cheers.
Yo voy a cantar esta canción para mi gente.